Hey guys, it's SRC Reptiles, and today I'm going to be doing a little update for you guys on the little babies, because I think it's been a little bit since you've seen them, because I think the last time you guys saw the babies was just when I was feeding a few, and you didn't actually get to see all of them. And then I'll also be showing you Lemon Drop, which we'll go ahead and just start off with right now. And with her humid hide she had, I had to completely throw that away, because for some reason, even though it's the same exact type of moss that is in Raja's humid hide that I put in this one, the moss got mold on it, and mold also was on the humid hide itself, and I didn't want to mess with it because it was kind of a pain, because I tried cleaning it off and it wasn't working very well, so I just decided to toss it. So here I have a plastic Tupperware container. I cut a hole in and I covered that exposed plastic with masking tape, which is normally used for painting and covering different things. And masking tape works really good. It's softer than just a plain old plastic feeling tape. It's kind of more cloth-like almost. And so it just makes it a lot more comfortable. And I've seen Lemon Drop get in the container twice now. I just have paper towels that I have wadded up kind of in a ball type shape, and then I mist inside of that every day or so that it is humid in there. So if she were to get too dry, even though the apartment is pretty humid around this time, normally her tank sits about 50-55% humidity. Right now, because I've got fans going, it's at 45%, because we are at 75 degrees right now, which I don't think you can, yeah, you can kind of see it. So obviously it's not like it's a huge catastrophe, but when I got home it was at 77 because all the heat shines on this, like the sun and everything, and it just heats this room up terrible. So anyway, enough of my blabbing. I know she's in here, and she's been doing very good. She loves coming out at night and eating her dubia roaches, and she normally gets between 4 and 5 depending on if they're larger or if they're smaller. Hey lady, what's going on, huh? She's giving me the look. She's like, where's my hide? Why have you removed it? Come here. Yeah, come on over here and show off your pretty colors. She's definitely getting more used to me, and she gets super excited when I get her out to feed her. Oh, she's just going to run into her cold hide. That's okay. You got to see her for half a second. She normally comes out and roams during the evening. She doesn't normally come out and be very active during the day, except for if I drop some dubia roaches into her feeding dish there. She freaks out. Oh, is there actually? Oh, there is one dubia in there. She must have missed it. It's just going to be an extra tonight when I go and add 3 or 4 more. Okay, so we'll go ahead now and get these guys out, and I'll probably show you the itty bitty babies first, then these guys. And then I have an egg that is due to hatch in the next 5 to 7 days, I believe, because I think it's at day 82 of 95, because 90 to 95 is normally where they are hatching for me anyway. So we'll go ahead and I'll show you some of the babies. So while I was getting the babies down, their father here, which is Mischief, decided that he was going to move around and see what was going on, so he's just kind of chilling there. He, I believe, well, actually not, they just got fed last night, so that's probably why he's moving around, as he's looking to see what's going on. And then of course, I'm sure you guys noticed Twix was just hanging out over here. They really like these dishes here that I got at the Dollar Tree, and they're for soap. They still like them. I wouldn't be surprised either. Oh, actually it looks like Raja is out and roaming his tank. I was gonna say I wouldn't be surprised if he came up to the front. His bridge is currently being washed because it fell in his water dish and got mold growing on it, because it was, even though I took it out of the water dish and hung it back up, I'm not really sure exactly why. It's probably because it's made out of wood, and it just always seems to do that. Take this out real quick. So let's see, this one here is Pumpkin. Okay, so this is the crazy one. Pumpkin is really pretty, but he is also very crazy. He managed to get in between the paper towel. Not a bad little hiding spot for a baby. Okay, so here's Pumpkin. You can see how much pattern him or her is developing. Definitely going to have a lot of drip. Definitely going to be an extreme. Probably Harlequin, I'm assuming. None of the babies are really looking tricolor except Lark, and he's one of the older ones. This one here, let's see, because I think this one came out last month. Yes, so this one here officially is a little bit over a month old. So that means that Pumpkin and Trusty are a little bit over a month, and that means that Pop-Tart and Quibbler are 2 months old, so, because they were a month before these guys. But yeah, you can see they're definitely doing a lot better with handling. They're still a little bit jumpy, but nothing as bad as they were when I first, of course, introduced them to you guys. You can see even with a little bit of petting, he's chilling, which of course, he was just asleep, so that kind of helps too, that they're more laid back when they are tired. But yeah, so too bad that this one's not fired up, because him and Quibbler are very similar looking in like coverage of pattern. Oh, almost forgot I gotta put this back in here, which tonight, the only bad thing about these tiny little dishes is the water evaporates so quickly from them. So like normally once a night when I go to take these guys out to feed, I always have to clean those dishes and put new water in there. So it's kind of crazy how quickly that water evaporates when it is hot in here. So this one here is Pop-Tart. Okay, so this one's the one that is 2 months old. And Pop-Tart is very similar to Serenity in the fact that he is a bicolor with white portholes. Except, looks like he also is fired down, because normally he's a real pretty brick red like Serenity is. Actually, he is a little bit of a different shade, which this makes him look more orangey yellow, but in person he's more of a tannish brown. But you can see he's got a lot more white portholes than Serenity, and you definitely can tell more about the bicolor, how the back is definitely a lot darker than the sides are. As where Serenity, it only really is noticeable when he's fired up versus when he's fired down, and with this baby, it's quite noticeable. But yeah, so this is Pop-Tart. And Serenity actually already has a home set up for him. There's this lady that is here in town that is a friend of mine that keeps reptiles, and she's got a whole bunch of different types of reptiles, but just no crested geckos, and she is going to be doing her research before she buys Serenity from me, because I told her, even though she's a friend, I obviously prefer that everyone that buys from me has setups already, and that they've got the food and the vitamins and all the decor and all the necessities that they need on hand first before buying any from me. So she's got plenty of time, because she was interested in Serenity like 3 or 4 months ago, and Serenity's not going to be for sale till September, because I'm waiting for him to turn a year old before I send him off, and I'm still trying to get all of the babies that are older trained to eat out of their tank and not just hand feeding. Once they normally hit 6 months, I will start to train them to eat from their tank, but I'll still hand feed them as well. Okay, so this is Quibbler. I already can tell you because I can see his pattern. So here is Quibbler, and you can see he also has got a ton of pattern. Definitely going to be very excited to see how these guys turn out. Now I'm only going to be keeping probably a couple of them for further breeding, so it's going to be difficult to pick, because Quibbler, Pop-Tart, or not Pop-Tart, Pumpkin, let's see, Peep and Little Rascal all are very high extreme, as in the fact that their pattern is going to grow quite a bit as they, go into adulthood. So it's going to be hard to pick which ones I want to keep to go further on with the extreme tricolors, or extreme harlequins. Sorry. Sometimes my brain and my mouth can't keep up with each other, and I'll say the wrong thing when I don't mean that specific thing. But, so yeah, this here is Quibbler. This is the one that is named after a newspaper that's in Harry Potter. My boyfriend and I were watching it a few months back, and we heard Quibbler, and I was like, that, and he agreed, of course, that would be a very cute gecko name, so that is where he gets his name. Go ahead and put that back in there. Now, he has still a teeny tiny bit of remnants of water, so that one is just freshly evaporated. I'll set that there. Okay, now the last one's going to be Trusty, and he's very interesting with how his patterns look. And they are developing quite nicely. Oh, and see, this one still has a little bit of water in it. I'm assuming Trusty's, and it's obviously evaporated, but Trusty's tank must have been in the very back. So Trusty, when he came out of the egg, he didn't look like he really had much going on pattern-wise, but he has really started to develop. Oh, Raja's roaming back to the front of his tank. So you can see this one's got a lot of, well, it's not as visible in the camera as it is in person, but he's got a lot of pattern. You can kind of see it that is starting to develop on the middle laterals, which is the side of his body, so at the very middle of his stomach, and the upper laterals, which is towards his back. There's a little bit of pattern developing down at the very bottom where it's kind of yellowish in you guys' view, but more brownish orange in my view. When he hatched, all he had was just the patterns on the very bottom of his stomach, at the very low laterals down here. So he's been developing a little bit, but it's definitely interesting looking for a baby, because all the other ones had a lot of pattern except for, you know, the two bicoloreds, but he's obviously become a lot more docile. He was the one that was like all angry and stuff one time when I was weighing him. He's very cute. So anyway, those are all of the new babies. Well, not new babies, but younger babies, I should say. I'm not going to hold them too much because they're obviously still in that stage where they can easily get stressed from too much handling. So I normally try to keep it under 5 minutes per gecko, of course. So go ahead and set them to the side, and then I'll go ahead and grab the older babies for you guys to get to see. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get, it looks like Jericho. So this one's one that I obviously bought. This one was not produced by me. This was the one I got at the local reptile show a couple months ago. Okay, so I'm assuming he's probably hiding under the paper towel. Yes, here he is. Okay. So this one here is a tricolor that will be for future breeding, and he has almost full amount of pinstriping, and he finally is starting to get some weight on him because he's actually the same age, I believe. Let me look. So he was born 10/4/20 of 20, and this one here is Serenity, and he was born 10/17/2020. And Serenity is obviously quite a bit bigger than Jericho, because I don't know if he just wasn't fed every day, or if he maybe was just always fed from the tank and never hand-fed. Because I've found that babies that are hand-fed normally gain more weight quickly, because you're giving them a consistent amount of food every day, or every other day, or every 2 days, however often, depending on the age of your gecko. But he has definitely become a lot more docile versus when I first got him. He still was well behaved when I first got him, but he was still a little bit jumpy, which is to be expected from a baby. But yeah, I definitely can't wait to see this guy when he's full grown. I will get Serenity out real quick just to compare for you guys. Obviously, once babies get a certain age, you don't want to be like having them next to each other, because I have had where they'll actually show aggression towards each other. So obviously, once they get about a year old, I would not be putting them next to each other, but these guys are not quite a year old yet. So this will give you an idea of how big Serenity is compared to Jericho. I think I can kind of get them to sit next to each other for a few seconds. Straighten out for me. There we go. So you can kind of see he's getting to where he's catching up, so that's good. And then Serenity here, of course, like I said, is the one that's got a home lined up. Hey, that is not your tank, mister. You can go back in here. There you go. So anyway, this one here is Serenity. And you can see that he has just a few white portholes. I do really like the white kneecaps that he has, just a little bit. Not completely full, since it kind of breaks up. It's just barely there. And then he's got the white on his lips, which is really pretty. Hey, hold still for a few seconds. You were behaving a second ago. But you can see his darker back compared to his sides. And it's a little bit more noticeable in person, but you can still kind of catch it on the camera a little bit. He's definitely a lot more laid back than when he was a baby. There we go. Kind of switch hands here. But he's really pretty because he has a nice red throat, as you can kind of see. It's kind of hard to hold them upside down with one hand, but whoop. You can't really tell on camera. But he's got a really nice, pretty red underbelly that I think he definitely got from Harmony. So we'll go ahead and put him in here. And then these plants here I got at Walmart, and they're really nice. I think they were $4.89 or something like that. It'd be probably around $15, $11 to $15 if you got them, and they were specifically for reptiles, because it always seems like plants for reptiles are super expensive, but then you can just go to like Hobby Lobby, or in this case I found those at Walmart, and you can get them like a fraction of the price, and all you have to do is just wash them, which with any plants I'd want you to probably wash them anyway to make sure they're clean. But yeah, so here is Lark. You can kind of see the white that's there in the middle laterals. He's not really like covered in pattern like his sibling, but he is still really pretty. He fires up really nice and dark, which he's partially fired up right here, not full. But that white is developing there in the centers, which is nice. And even if he is not a high coverage tricolor, because I mean his dad isn't. His dad's got just enough to be considered a low coverage tricolor. But he's still very well behaved. He's really pretty. Partial pin striping, or pin dashing actually is what I'd consider it. Not really enough pin to be considered a partial. Because normally when it's like 50%, I'd be considering it a partial, and he's not really quite there. And then he's got a nice little crest he's developing. Nothing like too fantastic, but it's still nice. There we go. Get his little plant put back in here. Now, next up we have these two, which are the ones I'm keeping for now, and they're both, well, I haven't checked Peep recently, but they both looked boys. I know for sure Little Rascal's a male. Whoops, didn't mean to hit my camera there. So for sure I know Little Rascal's a male because he has pores showing very visibly. Go ahead and get him out, I can see him here. Whoop. Okay, so here is Little Rascal. And he is developing quite a bit of color. And in person, the yellowish color is more of a creamy orange, if that makes sense. It definitely does not look yellow at all in person. I hate this lighting in here because I'd like to just have the blinds open, but it'd make it way too hot. But yeah, so here is Little Rascal. He's very cute. Very well behaved gecko. Definitely going to be an extreme harlequin. I was about to say tricolor again. You can see he's just got a few white portholes, but nothing like spectacular. He's got decent crest structure. Definitely going to probably be slightly floppy, just like his dad's. So he's very well behaved. Very nice gecko. Sadly, not really a lot of pin striping at all. Like, wouldn't even say pin dashing at this point because there's like pretty much none. But I definitely like him for his color and his coverage, but he's most likely going to just be a holdback until he's large enough to sell. When he gets a little bit older, because normally if you hold on to them until they're more towards, you know, the 20-gram range, then you can normally sell them for a little bit more. And obviously I'm not in this so much as to make money, but I would like to make a decent amount on the babies, like what they're worth obviously, because it helps to go towards the care of the other reptiles. And it kind of has to... It's pretty bad that I have to explain that sometimes, because people will think that, oh, you're just into breeding animals for the money. And it's like, no, I'm in it for the long haul. It's like, this is a hobby, and whoop, he just plopped right out of that plant. He's really pretty and fired up, though. That's good, because you guys will get his, well, you won't get to see his full color, but you can definitely see how much more he is covered in pattern versus Little Rascal. And he is a deep orangish brown, very pretty color. So he's definitely one of the ones I'm going to be holding on to. Sadly, not the best when it comes to like his crest structure. As you can see, if he had like Little Rascal's crest, then like it would be perfect. But obviously he has kind of a mediocre crest that he probably got from his mother's side, because she really didn't have that great of a crest. But you can see we've got a lot of dripping, which is when the back and the sides kind of flow together, I guess you want to say, or when the back drips down onto the side. So he's very pretty. So yeah, I can't wait to see what he looks like as an adult, because his patterns just keep covering his body more and more as he grows. So yeah, that's definitely why Peep is for sure one of the ones I'm holding on to. Like I said, I'm probably just going to keep Little Rascal till he is about 20 grams or so and then sell him. But for now, those two will be the main ones that I'll be keeping. And we'll go ahead and put this plant back in here. Aside from Jericho, of course, because that one I bought to hopefully have for a future breeder. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I will show you Vesper real quick because I don't show Vesper very often. And then we'll go ahead and end this video. Okay guys, so Vesper's kind of in shed right now, so I'm not going to hold her for very long. But you can definitely tell she's in shed because of the grayish white color she's got going on here. And then you can see how her brown starts to show from her snout, which is another tall tale sign because they will lick their face to start to wetten or dampen the skin before they start to rip it off. But yeah, so definitely not going to show her for very long because they normally do not like to be handled very much when they're in shed. But you can see she's getting quite big, and they're going to be getting weighed either today or tomorrow after I go shopping and whatnot. Get home with stuff. So, and I guess I'll show you guys Twix too because he's getting quite large. But yeah, I won't keep her out for long, but she is doing very well. Still trying to get her to eat from her tank. When I have her out, she'll eat from her bowl just fine. But when I get her and I put her bowl in the tank, she won't eat the food from the dish when it's in her tank. So I'm not really sure exactly why she's being so stubborn. Hey, go in there. Thank you. But yeah, I'm going to give her tank a few mists real quick. Since she's in shed, that'll give her some extra humidity for the day to help that skin soften up. Hey guys, so here's Twix. He, of course, should be about... Actually, I need to look and see when he was born because I can't remember. But I got him last year in April, and he was 6 months old. So he's probably getting close to 2. So, if that gives you any idea. He is one of my tricoloreds. But he's not really as high visibility or high marking tricolor. He's definitely an extreme tri. But you can see there's more white on this side than the other side. He's giving me little licks here. I'm hoping he doesn't start biting me. Because he's kind of, ever since he kind of broke that 40-gram weight, he's kind of been acting a little crazy lately. I'm hoping that he will be interested in Snickers soon because I was hoping to get Snickers and indigo bread by now, but he was a little slow to get to the 40 grams, so it's a little behind schedule. But I'm going to go ahead and put him back in here because I don't want him to start latching onto my finger and biting on me and then me trying to fight him. But he's definitely going to be due for a tank upgrade, which I've made sure to not stick anything over here because I'm planning on getting him one of these tanks as well and putting this one into storage because I've got 1 or 2 of these in the closet already because I'm going to obviously keep them for when I have some of the babies get bigger. He's always so derpy. He is such a geek. He's a little turd. So anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this little video getting to see all the geckos and stuff. Hopefully you found it, you know, enjoying to watch and whatnot. Anyway guys, like and subscribe if you'd like to support the channel. It always encourages me to make more videos. Thank you so much for watching and have a good rest of your day.